Okay, hello, we are Team BrailleFlow, and we're going to be talking about the tactile communication system for the visually and auditorily impaired people. So, here's the challenge, and here's how we addressed it. So, we want to promote inclusivity and diversity, and the way we thought about doing that is by designing a system which allows deaf people and people who are blind to communicate with one another in a holistic manner, holistic and simple manner. So we designed a closed loop communication system. So what this basically allows the person who is deaf to input text onto a website, and that website interacts with the backend, and that backend will actually communicate through signals through the micro controller, and it will send haptic feedback to these 6 buttons. And the 6 buttons are how Braille is actually translated to the English alphabet. So this is how we're trying to allow people who have disabilities to communicate with one another more easily, just like how normal people are able to communicate in the everyday world.
So one of the things we've noticed is that young people who are disabled kind of struggle to talk with regular people, right? And we want to make sure that young people know how to speak Braille, and this device will allow them to learn the different letters of Braille so they're able to communicate with the people who are disabled.
Getting into the actual coding and how we made the project happen. So essentially, the big part was we had to turn the English language into Braille and then have that turn that into haptic feedback in a 2x3 grid. So essentially, if you'll come here, so we made a 2x3 grid of vibration motors, and in the back end, what we essentially did for the Braille was we assigned true and false values in a 2x3 array. So for let's say if a user inputs an A, then the only true statement would be this one vibration motor. All these would be set to false or otherwise off. This would be set to on. So therefore, see, that would move. So then if a disabled person would place their fingers there, they would feel the motor on that specific area, therefore corresponding to the A. And now Chitaz will take you through how we were able to turn this into proper English sentences.
So the front end code is made on Python through HTML. As we input our sentence in, for example, the sky is blue. Our Python program takes the sky is blue. Our Python program takes every character and transforms it into a series of 6 bits. Those 6 bits control one of the 6 vibrator motors, and each of the 6 bits are separated by delimiters. So each delimiter represents a 2 to 3 second delay. So if we then click translate, the device will read through the entire string in Braille, and that's basically how our backend engine works. So the issues facing the process include figuring out, especially how to commit feedback between the front end and the back end systems. So we had to connect our back end server through the serial port in order to communicate with the device, and that was really one of the issues that took a lot out of us. Ali could demonstrate some other issues.
Some of the other issues that we have is that we want to make this project be inclusive, right? We want to ensure that the bridge between young people and young disabled people is shortened so they're able to better communicate with each other and form stronger relationships.
So again, we weren't able to actually construct a physical 3D model that integrates all the buttons together in like a sort of like a console design. So, but what we managed to do is actually create a CAD architecture to see how all of this would actually come together into one actual design that will be both compact and very efficient for people to carry around. And this is going to be very cost efficient, and it's also going to promote inclusivity because a lot of people will be able to afford this sort of architecture.
And another thing we wanted to quickly discuss, so for further promoting this product in the future, another thing we're planning to do is we're going to apply these buttons that we have set up here. These are right now just
Placeholder?
they're placeholders, and they're a prototype for an LCD screen that we're planning to connect and hook up to this, which will allow the reverse of this communication from a blind person to a deaf person, in which they were able to use a similar mechanism to input using these buttons, which would be designed with his CAD program to input basically a braille code into a display which would be on the LCD. And thank you for watching, and that's our presentation.